Welcome to Road America, Wisconsin. It's actually Elkhart Lake, but this is Road America. Look at the beautiful trees. The colors are changing here on this brisk fall day, almost as we're watching. We are at the 60th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, and there's nowhere else I could imagine running this historic 60th anniversary than at one of the most historic venues in all of North America. It's time for GT1. Let's go down to the pits with Hayward Wagner.
Well, guys, unlike every other race, we're a little lonely down here. The cars just rolled out a few minutes ago. The crews are making their way off. So we are on a really tight schedule at the moment, which is why we had kind of a quick flip here to get these cars rolled off grid to stay under our hard close. Not a lot of storylines, not a lot of cars in this group. I think probably the only thing you guys need to hear from me is if you can get a shot of it, the back of David Pintaric's car clearly states, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. And if there is a slogan for GT1, that's got to be it.
Oh, it is. I like that. These are for the guys that just can't get enough of anything. It's amazing. These are the thunder machines, is the only way to put it. So, 900 horsepower, Tomo? I mean, these things are absolute beasts. They, in a straight line, they are staggeringly fast. And they tend to be a little bit finicky, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they can last 13 laps around this remarkable racetrack.
They are absolute rocket ships. Hey, Greg, happy to be here for GT1, and it feels just so correct to race this kind of car on this kind of racetrack. Yep. Taking a look down into their favorite sector, I'm sure, those high speeds, clearing 180 miles an hour twice in Sector 1 alone, down into Turn 1 and also down through Turn 4 towards Turn 5. Then we get into the most tricky section for these drivers and these cars. A lot of horsepower, but they are very, very high-tech cars. There's so much technology that has gone into these space frame chassis that have just these bodies draped over them. There's a lot of aero, there's a lot of tire to get through turns 5, 6, 7, 8, into the big carousel, leaning on the aero, then through the kink, a big checkup, but clearing almost 180 miles an hour once more, down into turn number 12 through Canada Corner, then the big dig up through turn 13 and 14. These are the only cars that probably don't really feel that hill coming back towards start finish.
That's a really good point. And in our top 4, we have 16 gold medals are on the grid. Your Tire Rack Pole Award winner is Dave Rouleau. He had a silver right here in 2020 in his number 31 Chevy Camaro, and he is capable of getting it done. His speed in qualifying was a new GT1 qualifying record for the runoffs at a 2-minute 2.535. That's booking around here. Second, Dave Pintark, two-time gold medalist in his number 57 Kreider Racing Goodyear Ave Motorsports Ford Mustang. In the third spot, Tony Ave himself in the number 35, four-time gold medalist in his Ford Mustang. In the fourth spot, it is number 12, Michael Lewis, 10-time gold medalist across a variety of classes. But the challenge for him in that black and orange Jaguar is that car, that chassis, is 24 years old. So he's just trying to keep it running. In the fifth spot, our rookie, the number 2 of Adam Romito out of Opelika, Alabama. He is running the Dodge Challenger SRT, beautiful car. And just great lines on it there. Starting in the sixth spot, one of the veterans. I remember announcing this guy in Trans Am back in the early 90s. Rick Dittman at a Lincolnshire, Illinois, Chicago region in the RDE Chevy Corvette. Then the 07, Ryan McManus. He was our Hawk Breakthrough winner, making the biggest gain from qualifying 1 to qualifying 2. Out of Seville, Ohio, Northeast Ohio region, the McManus Agency Corvette. Starting in the 8th spot, the number 11 of Rocky Eli out of Winnetka, Illinois, Chicago region, the Fields Auto Group Chevy Corvette. In the 9th spot, the number 3, David Furstand out of Fort Worth, Texas, making his 21st runoff start in a Ford Mustang. And then 10th, the number 44 of Dominic Martinolich in a Porsche 9912 GT3 Cup car. And just a couple of notes here. Tony Ave is making his 18th start. One of the best you would think. Michael Lewis is 46th start.
He's done half of those at this event, I think.
Yeah,
but
and I think it's now probably 47.
Yeah,
because he's run one already. I know.
Coming up to the green flag, but I should say real quickly, Hayward said there's no big storylines on the grid, but this class has storylines. We haven't had a standard race, let's call it, in 4 years since we were at Road America. Rain, cancellations, etc. These guys want to race.
They truly do. They really just want to get a good, clean race in. Let's see if we can have that happen here. And we're about to find out. Dave Rouleau looking really, really strong here this weekend. And alongside David Pintarek. That's the group watching. And you're going to hear it when they go green.
Oh, Pinteric was in the wrong gear or something.
He
Completely
surely
sleeping.
was.
Tony Ave goes with him and then tag. The 07 goes around.
That was just an unfortunate moment for Ryan McManus as Pinteric was slowing, and they just touched. And right after we were hoping they'd have a good, clean race, McManus gets into the wall, and Pinteric still not moving. I wonder if he broke something as he went to the throttle. Unbelievable here. Meanwhile, Rouleau leading from Ave, and Ave is an Iron Man here, isn't he? He's doing something on the order of 5 different events here, so he's getting tons of track time, that's for sure. And that beautiful blue Dodge Challenger of Adam Romito able to move up here. And now Ave taking a big run, diving down inside Dave Rouleau. And Tony Ave absolutely, well, who doesn't, driving these things. And look at Romito. He's got a lot of something coming out of the back of that Dodge Challenger, but certainly not hurting his speed as he just absolutely rumbled past on Dave Rouleau. That might just be fuel.
Yeah, I have to wonder if that's just spare fuel burning out of the back of that Challenger, but Ave is up on the wheel early. He's pushing big time, and Dave Rouleau is showing signs of weakness right now. Maybe some issues with that car, or would prefer to get the car way more in, but you see he's not even using all the track.
Well, I think
as he
that's
needs some build.
He's trying to avoid that fuel that's getting laid down. It doesn't evaporate off that fast on a cold day, and it can be slick for a moment. And getting word, we have a full course caution. Full course caution is coming out. And obviously, McManus just could not drive that McManus Agency Chevy Corvette away here. I'm really intrigued to have a look at another look at what happened there. Because it all started when Pinteric, that Mustang of his, just completely laid down, Tomo.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere at the start. It caused a big stack up in that left side lane, and somehow 2 cars came together. Michael Lewis ended up turning this 07 car of Ryan McManus just towards that left side barrier. Luckily, this could have been way worse. Here's how it happened. Lewis trying to avoid just a complete circumstantial accident that I don't think any of these drivers can be blamed for at all. It's very, very unfortunate for McManus to have his race cut short that way. Just that clunk into the concrete wall, just can't get the car going again.
Yeah, the thing is here, we're talking about cars. What are they? Were they 355 V8s in a lot of them? 900 horsepower. It's an amazing amount of torque. And when you go, gearboxes can snap. Things can happen on these cars. They are wickedly fast, but they're also really finicky and tricky, to keep running. And that's just a really tough moment here. And we got another replay we're going to show you here. Just watch it from this perspective. And when it goes green, you're going to see the 31 of Rouleau and that whole row go, and Pinteric, nothing.
And he tries, but it's Lewis that has to avoid or slow down. He's got cars coming up behind him again. McManus has no reason to believe that he's not fine.
Yeah.
It's just such a big, wide car. 3 wide on the front straight is too tall an order.
And the question is, how is Lewis's car? And I think he may have hurt that right front corner as well.
So we may have lost 3 drivers essentially in this one quote-unquote incident, with Lewis pulling over and Pinteric having that initial incident, mechanical issue, which is just going to take this thing down.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
there
Lewis
it is.
Flat right at least. And I think Michael Lewis is probably, his hair is getting grayer as he's driving up pit lane, because he has had just some frustrating runs in this category, and a lot of them had nothing to do with this being an older car. He's still a superb driver, but he's just been caught out in some just bizarre things, and I think he's probably just absolutely beside either that, or he's just, I knew something was going to happen.
Maybe, one of the two. I guess it's optimism or pessimism, whichever one he has, but
maybe just realism.
Realism, to be honest, But the car, this is like, as you mentioned, it's just things happen so fast in a car like this, and you can't really appreciate, a driver when you're used to cars, even that are modern cars that can go to a track day and run a lap that's sub 230 at Road America. That's a fast car. That's a fast lap, but doing a 202, I mean, you can't comprehend that difference in speed and how much quicker things happen. The momentum behind that, you have almost no time for decision making relative to what you can probably picture, either what your commute looks like on the road or what your experience is behind your own wheel of your own car.
That's a really, really good point. And it is a big track, but when you're going that fast, it just comes out. I mean, take a look here. On the opening lap from a rolling start, not full speed down the front straight.
And half under yellow.
And half under yellow, we got a time or a trap speed even there of 101 plus or 171 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
These things are stonking fast.
And with that, Yellow, the fastest lap of the race would be pretty competitive in B-Spec. So they got around pretty quick, and that's nothing against B-Spec. It's just to say these cars are so quick. So Tony Ave, I kind of mentioned that the
you
last
went
time
from one side to the other of the old SCCA pendulum there. That was nice.
Hey, I've done one. Hopefully I'll do this one too.
I would love to see that.
I mentioned Tony Ave. I mentioned that this race has not really been a quote-unquote normal race for a number of years. We had a wet race at Indianapolis in 2021. We had a wet race at VIR in 2022. The race was canceled due to attrition in 2023. The last time that a car won a normal race in the dry with just a straight-up battle was that car on camera. Maybe not that car, but Tony Ave won the 2020 runoffs at Road America here. Yep. So he's feeling like, looking like he's confident enough to do it again.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
All right, here we go, up the hill. And let's hope we get this one going, and we go clean and green to the finish here. We're green, and here we go. Dittman looking to the inside here, maybe thinking a little bit about taking a shot at Rocky Ellie here. And you can see Ramito covers on Rulo right there, and that is going to give Tony a little bit of a jump.
The big jump, really. Rulo very defensive by putting that wide Challenger just smack dab in the middle of the track, and I don't think you can fit that Camaro on either side of it when he does that. Now up on the throttle, down towards 180 miles an hour at those speed traps in turn 5. Watch that speed board down there, spectators. You're going to see the number pop up.
It should be spectacular, but I'll tell you what, Adam Ramito is flying right now. Just motors by Ave. Here comes Rulo as well. Is Ave suddenly having some sort of an issue? You don't see him just get motored like that. He pulls out of the way. Tony Ave struggling as well. Unbelievable. And Adam Ramito has taken over the lead with your pole sitter, Rulo, in second. Dittman through into third. And Ave just trying to hang on now in fourth. And he's out of fourth, too. Rocky Ellie has picked up that spot right now. And there is Tony Ave. And clearly struggling, Tomo.
Yeah, hopes of repeating this Road America Championship are gone, I would say, for the 35. And I agree with you, though. Up at the front, Dave Rulo is basically driving to avoid the spray off of the back of the Adam Ramito's car. So while Tony Ave is dealing with heartbreak, Dave Rulo is dealing with visibility and liquid issues.
Yeah, everybody having something unfolding here, so it seems. And Ave, he's running 5 different classes in this year's runoffs. And this one, I think, is the one that means an awful lot to him. Maybe that in the Atlantic that he'll be running a little bit later on. That's a class that he's very connected with as well. But Adam Ramito, and keep in mind here, folks, Adam qualified in the 5th spot and was a few seconds off of Rulo's pace. Whatever the problem was with that Dodge Challenger, they have apparently sorted it out rather well, because he is flying right now.
Yeah, it's cooking. I'll never forget a couple of years ago, that car and that team had some of the fastest trap speeds. They weren't the fastest lap time, but they were well clear a couple mile an hour up on everybody else. They make big motors and a lot of straight line speed for those challengers. As Rulo, we noticed in qualifying, was a bit of a slow build. I wouldn't be surprised to see that 31 continue to keep the pressure on or even get a little bit quicker. But right now, Ramito's got this thing very under control, spitting flames down into 3.
That's just magic, isn't it? Just seeing those big burps of fuel igniting, coming out the side. And here we go. Rulo tucked right in as close as he's been. Dittman, as we said now, up into that 3rd spot. And let's see what's going to happen. Rulo thinking about it, and Romito covering absolutely. Making sure.
Big swiggle trying to avoid the back of Romito for a moment, got on the curb and had to fight the car for just a split second. I'm sure it was a pucker, but then they were all okay.
Yeah, and you got to think Rulo is probably trying to radioing in, going, look, there's a bunch of fuel coming out of the back of this thing, and it's kind of like Jimmy Clark and Parnelli Jones at Indy with the infamous oil leak in the back of the car, saying, have him pit, and they let him stay out, and he ended up winning it. So we'll see what happens here. Rulo certainly giving notice that if he is given one little opportunity, he's through.
Cool to watch those flames. That's related to the throttle. Every time you see that car belch flames, he's lifted or put the throttle back down. You see him doing it through the carousel. He's just playing with the throttle on that 800, 900 horsepower range that he's got to work with. Probably only doing about half of it through the middle there, but belching flames. And then that Rick Dittman machine is going to be in a bronze medal position if he can bring it home.
Yeah, it's basically unburned fuel, isn't it? When you lift, because they, in these engines, they are just pumping so much through it that when you lift and that unburned fuel hits the headers, it just burns out like that. But Romito's in particular, I think you could weld things with that.
And Romito's pushing. I would say Rulo looks calm. Romito is pushing. So he's doing everything he can in that Challenger to start to run away.
I think Romito is sensing I've got a rare opportunity here, and the car's working. Build a margin, make them have to run me down here, and Rulo can do it. Not quite close enough here. And just to let you know, for Dittman, how important would this be? His best finish in GT1. How about this, folks? 4th, 1983 at Road Atlanta.
Oh.
So if he, 40 years later, could actually get his first medal, what a story.
Be fantastic.
Yeah.
Circumstances aside, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, hey, racing's racing. Stuff happens.
Fastest lap last time through, Dave Rulo, 3/10 quicker than the leader, Adam Romito, in that blue Challenger. So the pace is there. He's got to figure out a way by. That Challenger is maybe strategically a little bit extra wide. What do you think?
It kind of looks it, doesn't it?
They added a lot to the sides of that car.
Yeah, they really have. And, of course, that gives it nice plant and all that, nice stability through these long duration corners here. But, yeah, that's a wide beast. And right now, Adam Romito is running within a second of where he qualified, so they have really figured something out with that car. And it just looks good.
It does. Big old lift there to tuck the nose right towards the end of the carousel, tucked it into the banking that kicks in about 2/3 of the way through. Grab some curb on the entry into the kink. That's a little sketchy. Uses all of it on the way out, too. Romito just looks confident. This is a great drive.
Yeah, he's just hooked up. As you said, confidence builds speed, doesn't it? Yeah. That's the thing. And most of all, what builds confidence? It's comfort. It's just feeling comfy. You're good. Everything's great. I'm liking what I'm doing here. Man, he's giving this a ride. Listen to that sound.
And it just looks nice and compliant on the curbs. You see him hop the curb at the inside of turn 13. No drama. A little bit of body roll. You don't usually see body roll in these cars. They're so stiff and low. But the mechanical grip on that Challenger is looking strong, although Rulo is still just lurking in that background. And we talked about how imposing the Challenger looks. The Camaro is pretty scary looking in the mirrors, too.
Well, that it is, especially in the hands of Dave Rulo. He's awfully stout here. And, of course, he got the year that I think Ave won it here. Rulo got a really competitive second as well. So it's not like he's a stranger to doing very well here at this track. So he's closed up a little bit under that run from 1 down to 3. Let's see if he's got enough of a head of steam. He is starting to unwind it. He's looking. Romito drifts over to dissuade him.
Moves in response just a little bit. Adam's got to be careful about that. That's considered blocking, but Rulo shows the nose.
And I'll tell you what, Rulo showed the nose. And Romito had none of it and just turned in, and Rulo gave it up. Still plenty of time left, about halfway through this race. So there's lots of opportunity here, but just taking a look here, and Romito just set fast lap at a 2:08.3. So he's getting it done, Tomo. You are right. He is hooked up and enjoying this.
It's among the fastest cars we're going to see here. They qualified, actually Rulo at a 2:02.
Yeah.
That's obviously probably a different compound tire, qualifying trim, weight out of the car, et cetera, et cetera. We may not see 2:02s today, but under 2:10 is wild. Romito all the track, all the way out to the outside, and that little move that Rulo tried to pull on Romito down in turn 5 really balked his progress. He's going to take a lap or two to get back there, I think.
Yeah, it did. It did. That's one of those things. You would think, okay, you have that little loss of momentum from that little lift. You got 900 horsepower, man. That's going away. Well, the guy you just lifted, who's in front of you, has 900 horsepower. Momentum's momentum.
Absolutely.
And, it's just going to take you. You're going to get it back quicker, but you're still going to carry that deficit to the next braking zone.
That classic Dorsey Schrader story from Spec Racers.
Yeah.
When you come to Trans Am cars like this, it still matters. Momentum is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. The more speed you can carry mid-corner and out, relative to your competitor, doesn't matter what level of horsepower the cars have, you're going to be quicker. That simple.
Well, even with getting slowed down a little bit, Dave Rulo was the quickest car on track last time through by 2/10. Look how much he's closed back up. Romito looks a little loose turning in for turn 1 that time, and I have to wonder, is Dave Rulo just kind of waiting for the obvious chance instead of the risky one?
Yeah, maybe he is. And it looks to me like Rulo's got really good straight line.
Big time.
And maybe, Romito, obviously, we're watching him. He's just really committed through 6 all the way down to Canada Corner. And now, let's see, does Rulo try and squeeze down the inside? Romito covers it. Remember, this is 900 horsepower and a bit of weight. That's going 180 plus miles an hour, and you got to somehow slow it down downhill. Rulo thinking about it into turn 6. That's sketchy, but you've got to slow down an awful lot of mass coming at a huge rate of speed into downhill braking zones at least twice here. That's tricky.
With no anti-lock brakes,
Yep.
It's all driver skill
And not much aero.
with these cars.
Not generally. You talk to these drivers, they go, oh, yeah, we don't have nearly enough tire. And so they're slinging it around.
Meanwhile, they'll barely roll through your front door. They're huge.
Yeah, they are. That's very true. And I'll tell you what, I'm getting a little nostalgic here. Back in the 90s in Trans Am, when they were all running the Goodrich bias plies tires, there was nothing prettier than watching 15 cars drifting through turn 1 here on those bias plies. I miss that for sure. But these guys are giving it one heck of a run. They may only have the 2 cars that are battling for the gold right now, but what a show they're giving us.
They're doing a great job, and the other thing is with these fast cars, the race goes really fast. We're already going to be starting lap number 9 of 13.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We have plenty of time to finish this thing out under green, despite the yellow flag. So this is starting to hit that tipping point where Rulo's going to be running out of time a little.
And did you see what Romito just did there? He squared up 14, and I heard him go to the throttle way before Rulo did, because I think he knows Rulo has some motor here. And here, as opposed to that risky pass into 5, how about an easy one with power into 1? Exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, it makes it very easy. As he goes deep on the brakes, it's going to kind of square it up and try to get in the way of Romito. And Dave Rulo goes to the lead.
Yeah, he was a little twitchy on the brakes as he started to turn in there, because he was way tight to the inside. Because Romito doing the smart thing and not giving him any opportunity to open the arc up into that corner. And nonetheless, Rulo is through. And now, for the last few laps, I didn't see any fluid coming out of the back of Romito's car. So to see what kind of pace Rulo has here. And he's already opened up a fair bit. But, man, what a ride. Wherever he ends up here, what a ride Adam Romito has put in here. And you think about where he qualified back in 5th and coming up and racing at this level with Dave Rulo. Pretty cool.
Very cool. And it's not over yet. We've got 3 more laps, 3.5 more laps, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Rulo start to pull away pretty quickly now that he doesn't have the track impeded. And I will say, to give these drivers some extra credit, the fact that this class is what it is, being expensive, fast, etc., they may not get to wheel-to-wheel race these cars all that often. They obviously drive them a lot.
Yeah.
But you saw Rulo was very, very strategic with how I'm going to race this next car around me, because maybe I don't do this that very often. You know, maybe I come to the runoffs and this is the main time that I race my competitors.
Yeah, really door to door. That's a really good point, Tom. Absolutely. Here's Rick Dittman, who is looking to maybe earn his first ever medal, and then Rocky Eli. I don't know if it's Eli or Ellie, to be honest, in that beautiful black Chevy Corvette out of Winnetka, Illinois. Another Chicago region member here. There he is, as he sits in the 4th spot, chasing Rick Dittman here, looking for that first ever podium. And just wanted to make note here. Trying to think of Dittman started in 6th. He's 3rd. That might be our Sunoco hard charger. Certainly a good candidate for it in this class, so he could be earning some extra honors as well. And this is all part of what is called SCCA Summit Equipment, Summit Road Racing Program. That includes the Hoosier Super Tire Super Tour, and then also the Majors program. And there are a lot of different paths that you can get to the runoff, but it all folds under the Summit Equipment Road Racing Program for SCCA, and this is where it culminates, and it's a joy to be a part of it.
For the drivers, of course, but also for the teams, crews, family, flaggers, workers, volunteers. That all falls under that category. We talk about the drivers mostly, of course, but they're all a part of that that Summit Road Racing program.
Well, and I've said for years that the unsung heroes of this sport are the crews.
Yeah.
And
I hate leaving the track before the crew is done. It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
As a driver, it's like, I don't know how to help, but I want to be here with you.
Yeah. But at a certain point, one of two things happen. One, the crew goes, look, we appreciate it, but you'll just be in the way. Leave.
Yeah.
Or they're saying, no, go get yourself some rest, because when we get this car running right, we want you to be at your best to drive it. And that's what makes it a team sport.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like you said, we're talking about the drivers. But without a crew, it's really difficult to get out. And keep in mind, the crews don't just give you a fast car. For Romito, they give you a car that is safe, and you're willing to do what he just did to the King there.
Yeah, which
that's
was
a huge part of it. Yeah.
Every inch of the track.
Yeah.
And that goes top to bottom. We've certainly seen our share of what could be very scary incidents over the years at the runoffs, and safe cars are the most important.
You betcha. And I mean, you think about what happened in Spec Racer Ford 3 with Ogden when he had that tow out on that left rear, and he was still just flat, going flat through the kink. That's because he said, all right, I figured out I could drive it. I felt confident it was going to stay underneath me. It was tough, but you can do it. And that's because you felt that the crew gave you a car that's going to hang on. I mean, they are absolutely indispensable there. So that's why normally on the victory laps here at the runoffs, you pack as many crew members in that car as you can, because they truly have shared it with you here, as we are on lap 11 of 13. And Rulo, once he got to the front, just easy. He just turned, I see that right, at 2:06.8.
Yeah.
That's flying.
Yeah, lapped last time by 3 seconds faster than Adam Romito. So while he was patient, he had plenty of speed in that Camaro, hard on the brakes down into turn 5 for the third to final time, showing off the flames of that car to the crowd on the right.
Yep.
Little flat slide on the way out, riding the rotation of that car beautifully.
Yep. And I've got a feeling that while, of course, Rulo was trying to figure out a way to get through on that really wide Dodge Challenger, I think he was probably really enjoying how Adam Romito had just picked that car up and was throwing it around this track. As a driver, you see somebody taking a car that maybe shouldn't be as fast as it's going and making that happen. You respect the hell out of that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But man, Rulo is just ticking the laps off right now. And it's such a shame, obviously, for Pintarek and for Lewis and for Ave. That group of 4 at the front, and then Romito being able to come into the mix maybe. What a show this could have been, because they are all top-tier talents. To be sure here. And I'm looking at the margin between Dittman and Ely, and what are the times. Ely about a half-second quicker than Rick on the last lap, but he's got to find the better part of 3 seconds, and we're running out of time here.
Yeah, that could come really quick, or it could be really hard to find depending on where those drivers are with the cars. You know, the ceiling of these cars is so high, the difficulty of getting there is also incredibly high. So it's not uncommon for someone to just find a second.
Yeah.
Whereas in Spec Miata, you would never see that. No one just finds a second in Spec Miata because the ceiling's not as high. So Rocky Ellie, as he's continuing to lap in 4th place in that black Corvette, only 3 seconds back of Rick Dittman in the blue and white. Right there, they were in the same shot. If Rocky Ellie has a particularly inspired lap, something goes and gives him a little bit extra confidence, it wouldn't be surprised to see him catch him.
Yeah, or Dittman makes just that little bobble somewhere.
Exactly.
And hey, once Rouleau got uncorked, so to speak, look at that trap speed, 175.5 miles an hour down into turn 5. That's booking.
Fastest
That
we
is
saw in
moving.
qualifying was 182.2. And it was just unbelievable. But it took 5-6 laps for them to get there. It tells you what it takes to build up to. There's a good look at Rocky Ellie that we were talking about.
Gorgeous car, isn't it? Just absolute gloss black, simplicity defined, and absolutely beautiful here. And here's Dittman. So that's that margin as we now are on lap 12 of 13. So Rouleau, when he comes around the next time, will pick up the white flag. And the run for the gold in GT1 will truly be near its completion here. Yeah, I mean, I think some great stories here. Ramito never probably thought or should have be able to be up front and run that fast, and found it. Rouleau played a perfect waiting game. Dittman could get his first ever podium and beat his best ever previous finish that was done some 4 decades ago. Rocky Eli coming up here, started in the 8th spot in that Chevy Corvette. I think he's a rookie, at least maybe here at the runoffs, and might just find himself with a 4th place finish. Some pretty cool stuff unfolding. Unfortunately, slim field, but I tell you, these guys at the front have given us a show.
Yeah, in a bit of a sick way, they could say they beat a bunch of national champions, can Rocky Ellie.
Yeah, exactly. In a sick way. I like that.
Unfortunately, at the detriment of some of our favorite drivers in the field. So our heart definitely goes out to them. But there's your leader continuing to circulate and taking that white flag.
1 lap to go. And thinking about in a sick way comment here, you know, Tony's driving 4 other races here. Lewis is probably driving at least 2. So, you know, they're just giving these guys their moment to shine, right? Yeah.
Sure.
We'll look at it. The one guy who's probably really annoyed is Quintard. I'm not sure he's running something else. He lives for this GT1 race out of Canfield, Ohio, and this one's going to smart.
But you know he'll be back.
Oh, absolutely.
Talked to him before the race a couple days ago, and he said, I may be old, but I'm driving better than ever. I'm getting better and better. This car is getting better.
Yep.
He's just positive, so I know he'll be back.
Absolutely. And on air, I mentioned a quote from a guy you know, James Houghton, when I asked him after he had led a race and then something went wrong and he broke. And I said, how you doing? He said, I'm a broken man, Greg. This sport has broken me. And I said, why do you keep coming back? He said, because I'm stupid and I love it.
Because I'm broken.
Yeah, I'm broken. It has me. It has me. It had me at Start Your Engine.
Yeah, it's the cause and the effect.
There you go. And for these guys, you know, driving these cars, I got a chance to do 4 laps in a GT1/Trans Am car from the Archer brothers back in the day around Brainerd. And, oh my God, you know, it is something else. And I was nowhere near what the car was capable of. And actually, Bobby Archer told me, he said, Greg, just remember one thing, you know, and you know, Brainerd, the old turn 1, 2 there. He said, this car is going to probably be going faster than you've ever gone, which means if you go off, you'll probably slide farther than you've ever gone and hit harder than you ever have. Ooh. Just keep that in mind. So I was like, okay. But still, you know, these cars are truly beasts, folks. And the guys wheeling it like Dave Rouleau is right here are very special. 1 in the bravery department, 2 in the talent department, and 3 for Rouleau in this one. Beautifully executed race up and over the hill, and Dave Rouleau coming through, and he is going to beat his best ever finish, a silver here at Road America in 2020. He adds a gold and a remarkable run by Adam Ramito in the Dodge Challenger, up from 5th on the grid, leading a large chunk of this race. And for Rick Dittman, his best ever finish in 1983 back at the runoffs. And Rick Dittman, a 4th. and he is going to come through and earn his first ever medal at the runoff. Look at that, some 4 decades later, he is going to have some hardware around his neck. And Rocky Ely really flying. As a matter of fact, on that last lap, Rocky lapped 1.6 seconds quicker than Dittman. So Rocky was giving it everything he possibly could here. But, you think about a well-judged drive. We may have seen a definitive one from Dave Rouleau.
I think so. I think that was just, especially with the dramas and the reset and knowing that he was third when he was expecting to be the fastest car on the track. Of course, immediately was gifted one of those positions a little awkwardly because Tony Ave was broken, but he just had to take his time, take his deep breaths, and not let these cars get ahead of themselves because it's easy to let that happen.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And, he took that one look down into 5, and you caught it, I think. You said, when Romito kind of seriously slammed the door, and at that moment you said, I think he's waiting for a safe pass, not a risky pass. And when he did it, it was just that easy drive-by down that front straight. And, clearly when you look at the top speed he had versus what we were seeing out of Romito, about 4 or 5 miles an hour faster. And look at this. Romito's running him down here because I think those two had a blast racing each other, too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really special moment. You get to do the cool-down lap, especially if it's your buddy. I don't know if these two know each other personally. They're from Wisconsin and from Alabama, so maybe not. But they've been in this class together. When it's your friend and you're coming out and you're waving, and just that really awesome feeling of enjoying, wait, this is my last lap of this track, at least for most of us. Rouleau gets one more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rouleau gets that very, very special one, to be sure. And, man, is it well-earned. No question about that. And I'm so happy for Rick Dittman. Like I said, he was that true independent privateer running Trans Am back in its second glory days. And he said, I know I'm not going to win. I know I'm probably not going to be top 10. But, man, I'm running. And, and running something like this is pretty cool. And he's still getting it around here and running quick enough to podium as Rouleau bringing it up the hill. And, of course, he is going to be heading toward our Hayward Wagner to do a little bit of chatting. Let's see if he has the memo here and doesn't turn straight into victory circle. We've seen that happen a few times. People anxious to celebrate.
I want to know if they're going to keep the leaves to remember this event by.
I think they should.
From the grill.
They should scrape them out, put them in a bag, and lay them nice around the trophy.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, that's good. I like
good.
that.
That's
yeah.
good. A little Halloween, October decoration for your trophy. Look at that bad boy. And it was. Man, straight line. This thing was a missile. And Rouleau, what a beautiful drive.
Way to go, Dave.
You can hear celebrations and congratulations coming from a number of folks here as the helmet comes off. Look at that
congratulations.
smile. Look at that smile.
We're going to get you decorated, get you interviewed, and then get you off.
And here comes that piece of hardware. That is an incredible moment. No question about it. There's the hat. And I think if, is this it? Oh, yeah. Got to have the Hoosier necklace when you're running those Hoosier purples. That's for sure. Let's get down to Hayward.
It's just the world we live in. I'm watching the text messages come in on his watch as everybody's congratulating him on the win. Dave, a gold medal here at the runoffs. How does it feel?
It feels wonderful. This has been a long time coming. It was a rough start there, but I was able to fight through it, and it was a good race.
You had a little bit more adversity than you might have anticipated, I think, and the guys in the booth were really kind of applauding the measure of this race, that you kind of waited for the right chance to make that pass. What was that mental process like?
Yeah, it was waiting. He was pulling a lot of defensive moves, so kind of fighting. I was fighting, trying not to get tangled up, so then I backed off and just waited a few laps and waited for the right time, and away we went. So it's a great race.
So you get one more lap around this track. This one's with the checkered flag. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks to all my crew, family, everybody. So they've been great. Couldn't do it without them. Couldn't do it with Hoosier. My wife, my kids, my mom, my entire crew. So love you guys. Thanks.
Congratulations.
It takes a neighborhood in a way to get it done because you've got all those different components, especially in this kind of a car that is so high performance. Everything's got to work. Everything's got to tick. Let's take a look at the official, or the provisional results, I should say. Rouleau with the gold. Romito, what a drive. I can't wait to see what he does here. In second, Dittman, and what a story. So happy for Rick. Rocky Ellie in that 4th spot. He was coming at the end. Look how much he closed that margin up to. And then Tony Ave, Michael Lewis, David Pintark, Ryan McManus, all out along with first stand. I don't know that first stand in Martin and Olich actually took the green. I think Martin and Olich did not. But at any rate, that is your top 10. And let's get back down because we've got 2 more medals to hand out, and pretty special ones at that, I think, Hayward. Adam Ramito and Rick Dittman.
Adam, it looked like you were trying to make this already pretty wide car even wider there for a couple of laps. Tell us about the drive.
Yeah, I cooked the brakes and the rear tires off of it. They just had the top end speed. I was better through 5 and probably 14, but he was better than me up through here in the front straightaway and through 2 and 3. So I tried everything I could to hold him off, but can't thank everybody on the car enough. Goodyear, RDR, SRI, Sunoco, Chris Sumner for the engines. Who else? 2-3 companies, Zeta Performance, Epic Electric, which those guys are around here somewhere. So everybody else involved. It's been a fun weekend. We took us a little while to get going earlier in the weekend, but we kind of scraped back some. So anyway,
congratulations on the silver.
Thanks.
We're gonna get our bronze finisher. Rick, I am told that you have some runoffs experience.
Yeah, back in the old Atlanta days when they had 3 cars and you had to run 20 races to get down there and everything else in that. Yeah, so that was in the 80s, something like that. So,
well, how's it feel to come back and walk away with a bronze?
This is unexpected because our good motor we broke on Monday. This motor is 15 years old and it ain't got no oomph. So we were lucky at the right spot, but you got to finish, So we're tickled to death.
Well, as the adage goes, to finish third, you must first finish.
Exactly right. That's what we planned on. So this is a real treat for me.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yep, Rick Dittman. What a joy to have him on that podium after all those years. Great story. And I like Ramito. I was a little quicker, I think, in here and there. And I beg to differ, sir. I think you have to add in he was a little better in the kink. That was awesome to watch. All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights here. There you can see at first, Pintark, that car just not going anywhere. Lewis trying to avoid him, collecting McManus, and that brought us right to a full course caution.
But again, could have been way worse. So I'm really glad to see that was as mild as it was. Then we got the thing restarted. This is when Ramito went straight to the lead, took Rulo with him. And it was also our first hint that Tony Ave was not healthy.
Yep, and then he just pulled over there and went up. And this battle was waging here. And here you can see, at this point, Rulo was trying to figure out a way through. Looked at it here and watched Ramito just turn across and shut the door. And that's when Rulo said, well, I'm going to have to do it with some straight line speed. Tomo, you kind of called it. And when he did it perfectly.
Just pulled straight ahead and then never looked back. Started turning laps 3 seconds faster and brought the thing home 12 seconds to the good for his first championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I will take with me from this one, obviously Rulo, just the execution that he put together in this race. But I'm going to remember watching Ramito running through the kink. That was joyous. That was absolutely phenomenal. Big thanks once again to Mazda for presenting our coverage here. A huge thanks to all of our volunteers and all of our crew members, and of course to Apex Productions, a great production group, and to my booth partner here, Tom O'Gorman, and to Hayward Wagner down in the pits. I'm Greg Creamer. Thanks so much for joining us in the Run to the Gold in GT1 here at the 60th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Oof, Forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Hagerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.